moment. Pat, you stumped me, which is adorable. Okay. Functionary reports, please. Our counter, could you report for us, please?
Yes, Madam Master of Ceremonies. I'm just going to go in quick order of lowest to highest. So if you're called last, you have 15, just so you know. We had Carl with 1, Eve with 1, Laura with 1, Sam with 1, Liesl with 1. We had Monique with 2, Robin with 2, Jane with 2. Oh, Eve was only 1. We had Elizabeth with 3, Carrie with 1. We had Kyle with 3, Carol with 7. I'm going out of order now. Tom with 5, Angie with 5, Anne with 9, Tim with 10, Art with 4, Amy with 4, Charlie with 6, Kate with 9, and yes, you are last. 15 for Arnie.
Woo!
Back to you, Madam Master of Ceremonies.
Winner, chicken dinner for Arnie. Fabulous. Our grammarian, Greg Netzork.
Thank you. It's been a very nostalgic meeting. Only I've been a member for only a couple years here. Anyway, Robin used rhetorical. I thought that fit in very well. And Tom, thrust. I could just see you being thrust into that president's role by Carl and the rest of the crew. Well done, everyone. Back to you, Madam Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you. And sharing her utterances with a few but not far between, Laura, please, Wordmaster.
I'd like to say thank you to everyone who did manage to use the word nostalgia today, since I did get off to a bit of a slow start. And if we had the bear, I would just pay the bear right now. Thank you, everyone, for your efforts.
No, we want to know who said it.
Well, true to my technical difficulties today, I haven't been keeping track.
Awesome. Because it's a party and Lord only knows what's in her stein. Fabulous. Good girl. I am moving on to functionary. I did that already. Presentations and protocol with Carl Thormeyer.
Well, let's have a rousing round of applause for our Master of Ceremonies today, Kyle Wood, for the wonderful program she put on. I mean, that's a collage of the pictures with the music. I've never seen anything quite like it. So that's a really kudos to you. I know I've been trying to stay out of your hair as you put this together, and I know I made the right decision to stay out of your hair because you did just a fabulous job. Let's all take a deep breath right now. I'm really excited about the fact that we're actually ahead, which will allow me to breathe a little more clearer as we go into the rest of the program. So, Madam Timer, we may take a few extra minutes on a couple of these things. And please forgive me on that, but since we are roughly 20 minutes ahead, now let's see. Where are we? We're 25, almost 25 minutes ahead. We're going to have fun the rest of the meeting. I want to mention something about the bill. I saw a couple chats go by, and nobody else seemed to like the bill. Kyle, I want you to tell them about your experience when you went to a club in Hawaii about the bill. Do you remember that? What happened?
I would love to. Thank you so much for asking. I have two clubs I'd actually like to share out in brevity. I went to Kauai to their club meeting, and they, for whatever ridiculous reason, decided to ask me if I would step in as and grammarian counter for them. Now, mind you, they are mellow individuals. And I hammered them. And by the time it was done, I got them for up talk. I got them for ums, pregnant pauses. And they went, you have a really mean club. That's how that ended. And as Carl mentioned, I'm an ambassador, and I do recommend that everyone do that after, of course, you rejoin Toastmasters NPS and pay Arnie your fees, because we want you back. Anybody not want these people back? I want you back. I want you back. I want you back. And not just for the fees, because we absolutely love you. You make us cry. But anyway, I went to Italy. Now, mind you, I went to Italy just last week, and these Italian young people their club is to make pitches to Americans. Well, guess who's in their midst? An American. So they are forgetting that fact after I made that quite clear, and they let me know that the one thing that they really dislike are we ill-equipped for society Americans, and how superior they had to realize we have to change our way of thinking because Italians are so superior to the American people. And I'm going, well, you're going to have to cut that right now. So we had this wonderful meeting where I was telling them that we love Italians. We love you. So they had a miscommunication, and through Toastmasters, we really got to connect in a way that they will be successful more because of this communication with Zoom. Does that make sense? So please, number one, rejoin NPS Toastmasters. Rejoin. And number two, be an ambassador. Go around the world to English-speaking spaces and make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Kyle's doing an amazing job. At the end of the first 6 months in District 101, she was the #2 ambassador in terms of how many clubs someone had visited. I know the person who's #1, and she's going to be tough to beat, but if anybody can do it, Kyle will do it. So thank you again. I'll move on to the next part of the program. And one of the things that I wanted to do during the anniversary celebration, is to acknowledge and talk about our honorary membership that we have in the club. The club constitution and bylaws, which is the same for every club in the world, allows for a category of honorary membership. Not all clubs have it, and we never had it until about a year or two ago. And we initiated a program to do that. And pretty much the rules are very simple. And we wanted to, well, first of all, we wanted to be able to remember a handful of former members with such an honor which would be as much of an honor to the club as it was to the individual. Now, as far as Toastmasters is concerned, they don't really keep track of this. So it's whatever we do. But if you're an honorary member, you're not a regular member anymore. If you're a regular member, then you're not an honorary member. And basically, when we set it up, the idea was, this is before the pandemic, people left the area, we'd never see them again, and they really made an impact while they were here, and you've heard from several of them already today. And over about 2 years, we went back and forth with all the old timers in the club to make a decision on who was going to where the cutoff was going to be, and we wanted to keep it fairly limited rather than have a lot of people. Now, one wrench in the works has been the pandemic, because 2 of our honorary members have rejoined the club on Zoom, and those 2 have to vacate their honorary membership, because you can't be an honorary member and a regular member at the same time. But once we go back to in-person meetings again, and they can no longer attend, and they'll go back to being an honorary member. So anyway, criteria was that you'd left the area, we didn't expect you back, and it wasn't so much how long you were in the club or what your personal accomplishments were. It was more the impact you had on the club while you were here. It took, as I say, 2 years to set this up. And to become an honorary member, it requires a 2/3 affirmative vote of the active membership, which is really hard to achieve. It wasn't a case of 2/3 of the people had to be there just to have a quorum and then a majority rules. No, it had to be 2/3 of the actual members. And so the hardest time we had actually was to come up with a meeting that had 2/3 of the members actually there. And it took us several months before we were able to actually vote these folks in. So how are honorary members impacted once they are selected? Well, first of all, you don't have any rights, you don't have any responsibilities, it doesn't cost you anything, and nobody pays you. So there's really nothing to it. And And there's no obligation, and you can quit anytime, I suppose. But at any rate, it's just a recognition that we wanted to give to a handful of people, basically over the decades. After a long period of deliberation, well, you did one thing you did get is you got your name in the 50th anniversary program package. And so you've got your program package, then you've got that. Anyway, we selected 15 former members to so honor as honorary members. 2 of them are deceased, and 1 we can't find. And that remains, we have 12, several of those 12 are here today. And I'm going to probably elaborate a little bit on each one that I hadn't planned on doing originally because we do have a little bit more time. And first one, Elaine Bennett Hill, was really the spark plug who in the late 1970s brought this club back to, if you remember my earlier speech, we had membership was in the 20s every week, plus 5 or 6 guests. It was just incredible. We started very, very weak and we just zipped up. And she followed me as division governor. I was the first division governor back in 1970, whatever it was. And she followed me as division governor. Unfortunately, she passed away back in 1988, I think it was. And it was a great loss, but a tremendous dedicated Toastmaster. The next person on the list, Kirk Johnson, I mentioned him in my speech. He was the president that was number 11 in the world. And the system that year, you got points for everything you did for the Distinguished Club Plan. You got like 200 points for a new member and 600 points for a CC, stuff like that. Anything that could be verified at World Headquarters on their computer, you got points for. And so we could compete with other clubs around the world, and they broke it into categories. Our category was 20 to 29 member category. And we did quite well in that. We were number 11 in this particular year that Kirk Johnson was president. How did you do that? Well, Kirk was, he was Afro-American. He got every Afro-American student in the whole Naval Postgraduate School into that club. I kid you not. And after he left, and they started drifting away. But it was an incredible couple of years. It was really a year, and we had quite a year there. Charlie from Romania made an impact that we have never forgotten. And now he's with us. He was with most of our Zoom meetings since we went to Zoom back in March. We're really glad to have him back. I keep trying to talk him into rejoining as a member, but he hadn't been on that one yet. Brendan Epps was the first of several presidents in a row that brought our club back in the 70s. I mentioned in my speech. I'm sorry, the 90s. I'm getting too old for this. It wasn't even that. It was the 2000s. Third time's a charm. All right, so back about 2006, when Arnie and I had run the club for a year, and that was the only year we didn't make presidents distinguished in the last 20 years. We were rebuilding the club at the time. Brendan came in, and that's when we just suddenly blasted away, and that laid the foundation for Glenn Toll, who had visited us several times on Zoom already, but he apparently could not make it today. But Brendan was going to come, but he didn't make it today. And that was, Glenn was followed by Robin Walker, and then Angie Anderson, and then Fred Sadler. And after about 2 or 3 years of just being at the top of the heap, it was hard to maintain that consistency forever. So we got back to a normal club there for a while. Okay, I mentioned Glenn Toll. He was only here for a year, but what an impact he had. Angie, lots of stories about Angie, but my favorite story about Angie, and I know she's here, is the end of one meeting, she started talking about the club, and she said, I finally found an organization that values what I like to do the most, which is to talk. And Angie was one of these people that definitely was a talker. I see chats going by, and I'm sorry I can't follow them, but anyway, there were a few others. But that one at that. Angie had an impact that has lasted forever. She's earned the honorary membership. Elizabeth Mitchell continued with her Toastmasters career. She just made her distinguished Toastmaster. She's back in Alexandria, Virginia now. She stuck with it. And the one thing that reminds me about Elizabeth, she came and visited us 2 or 3 years ago, and she talked about how she felt that we were the gold standard of the Toastmasters Club. And that really stuck with me because after seeing what I've seen today on our schedule and what we've done, I believe that truly is the case. All right, who's next? Joe Tacker, relative, sadly passed away about 5 years ago. his stories from World War II were phenomenal. And he was 91 when he passed away, but he was a past president also for about a year, about 15 years ago or so, and just mellow. And the thing I remember about Joe Tacker is table topics to him, he'd get up and say, the thing I like about table topics is you can talk about whatever you want. It doesn't really matter what question you were asked, just talk about whatever you want to. There are people today that still do that, including me. Art Testani is one of, we thought we'd never see him again because he lives 30 or 40 miles away from Monterey now. And but once the pandemic started, we actually got him to come back, and he's our vice president of marketing or membership now. Sharon Lipinski, you've heard a lot of, and Sharon, I should have brought that trinket. It wasn't really a trinket, but the little thing you gave to the four of us there with our name on it, instead of Steam Toastmasters. It's in the other room. Probably won't have a chance to go get it now, but the four of us all thank you for that. And again, Sharon was the first one that really got us to end our meetings on time. Even today, we're not very good at that. Okay, Lisa Iverson already talked about some of the things that she did. Really had an impact. Every time she came back at Christmas time, she'd be sure to visit the club. And we're just so glad to have her. Jack Jackson was with the club for about 5 years. He was here at the postgraduate school. He retired and moved to Texas. We haven't heard much from him since. He went on to be an area director, among other things. Marjorie and Pat Lisi were a couple from St. George, Utah, that were in Toastmasters there. And every summer they came and spent the spring and summer in Monterey. And they came to our club the whole time they were here and eventually joined. And we went to the international convention with them. Just a fantastic couple. They did come to our we had an open house back in December for former members, and they were at that. I think they're moving on. So, and finally, Caitlyn Flossen. I just can't say enough about Caitlyn Flossen, the impact that she had. One slide you saw earlier that Kyle put up with all the pictures about what I like about Toastmasters, that was Caitlyn's idea, and she went out there taking those pictures. And maybe you can find that, Kyle, and show it again. So, I think I was going to say about each one of where they were from, but every single one of them are from somewhere else besides here. Even Art Testani, San Juan Batista, Sharon Lipinski's from Bethesda, Maryland, Charlie, of course, in Bucharest, Romania, and several of the others, all from out of state, basically. Just a thrilling group of people. Okay, take a deep breath. See what time where we're at here for the reenactment of things. We're at 12:15, and so we are 20 minutes ahead right now. So I killed an extra 5 minutes there, I guess. So, Madam Division Governor, are you prepared for the next step here? Wherever you are, I've got to get out of speaker view.
Hello, Kyle. I think you mean me, Megan Mayer, Division A Director. Is that who you mean?
Yeah, who did I say?
Division Governor, a nostalgic term.
Well, in fact, there's a mistake in the program. We caught a whole bunch of those and changed them from governor to director, and Arnie caught one, and I caught one later, and we missed that one. We didn't find out until yesterday. We fixed it, but too late to get it out. So, there's always somebody looking for a mistake, and that was the mistake. All right.
I am ready, sir.
And I knew you would call me on it, so I wasn't disappointed. Okay, go on. I can't even have you on my tile. So, Greg, is there a way to put both Megan and I together here at the positioning of the tiles? Okay.
Thank you.
Megan, the floor is yours.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to reenact the chartering of NPS Toastmasters. And it's a pleasure and an honor to participate in this special nostalgic event. Toastmasters International certifies that the Naval Postgraduate School Toastmasters Club of Monterey, California, has been elected to membership and is hereby vested with all the rights and privileges of Toastmasters International. In witness whereof this charter is signed by Arthur M. Diamond, President, and Robert T. Buck Engel, Executive Director, this 16th day of February, 1971. Congratulations.
And there it is, the magic of Zoom. All right, and it was that charter has been in my den for I don't know how many years, but we figured if we didn't put it somewhere where there was a long-term member, it would disappear. I challenge any club in the district, tell me where their charter is. When I do the secretary training, I ask them, do you know where your charter is? And I get these blank stares. So anyway, this one's still there. It's a little dog-eared, and you can't even take the box apart anymore. And we tried to. We needed a copy of the charter one time when we were threatened for removal from the postgraduate school, and we had to prove that we had a charter and had a constitution, and I couldn't take this thing apart. Anyway, that's a different story. So anyway, thank you very much, Megan, and we will continue to hold on to it till the 100th anniversary, hopefully. Which won't be me. All right, thank you very much. And now we can move to the next presentation, which is going to be the presentation of a long lost award. Now, there's a story behind this. All right, I mentioned it in my first speech. 1993-94, we were one of the top club. In fact, we were the top club in District 4, which again, a reminder that District 101 used to be part of District 4 until it split about 5 years ago. And we were number one. And there was this award that was going to be presented to our president at the time, Pat Deck, but he graduated. And as Arnie mentioned, they have these annoying habits of graduating and leaving the area. And he was one of those. And so the incoming district governor, and we were governors then, Joe Madley, had the award and didn't have anybody to give it to. So he put it in his garage. And there it stayed until about Christmas this year when I got an email from another past district governor with whom Joe is intimately familiar. And he said, oh my gosh. And the long story short is I now have the award and we're going to present it properly today to the club. So Joe Madley, wherever you are, please take over.
Thank you, Carl. An excellent explanation of the delinquency of on my part not getting the award to you. I don't know that I would have invited me to the presentation if I had done to your club what I did to you. But again, thank you for inviting me. As past region advisor from Region 2, I bring you congratulations from Richard Peck, the president of Toastmasters International. And I want to add my personal congratulations for continuing for the 50 years. I had no idea that your club had gone through some of the things it had gone through relative to low membership and almost went out of existence. Interesting enough, the tenure of a corporate club in Toastmasters worldwide is between 1 and 2 years. And for college and universities, it may be a little longer than that. But in District 4, the college clubs that we have had have not done well. In fact, I don't think we have only fewer than a handful. I would like to explain, I will explain what the award was for. Shelley Horwitz was my lieutenant governor of marketing, now called Club Growth Director. And we were running behind membership, and we came up with the idea of awarding plaques to the category of clubs who had fewer than 20 members, 20 to 30 members, 30 to 40 members, and 40 and above, and adding membership to their club. And your club, in fact, won for your category. So I am pleased to finally get a home for this award. Interesting enough, Shelley Horwitz, we were notified last month that he had died from COVID-19. And I'm very sad to hear that, and a bit of nostalgia about Shelley. He and I had a running comment about lectern versus podium. And so I appreciate the comments of the two people that were talking about just that. So again, congratulations for the 50 years of your membership, and I wish you 50 more.
And you're going to toss me the trophy right now, right? Just toss it. Okay, you tossed
I will return control of the meeting to Carl.
All right, now you can see it for good. Okay, I cover up my camera, and it was written to Pat Deck. And I said, I tried to find Pat. Unfortunately, there was like about 100 Pat Decks in Facebook and 40 or 50 in LinkedIn, and I gave up. So unfortunately, I
still wouldn't have it.
invite them or Kirk Johnson. So there we are. Okay, thank you very much, Joe, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know that you normally are working on Saturdays, and you made time to come to this event, and I really appreciate that. You and I, of course, we go way back, and it's really good to see you and Susan, and hopefully we'll get a chance to say hello to Susan before the end of the meeting here. Okay, the next part of the meeting is I wish to call on our district director, Bob Singh, for comments and welcoming from District 101, our current district director. Bob, please take over. And you will be timed by our timer for 1, 1.5, and 2 with 30 seconds, please.
Thank you, Carl. And I'm just looking for the timer such that I do not miss that. I have not had a good track record of keeping on time, and today I'm going to try my best. Now, postgraduate School Toastmasters. It is my honor and privilege to be here with you tonight or today. Tonight is not the night. Somewhere it is the night. So it's actually not entirely wrong. 50 years of thriving as a club, of existence, which is not uniform or dull. It cannot be. And thanks, Carl, for sharing that story with all of us, and particularly to someone like me who have not had the chance to be part of this exemplary club. Although I have had good fortune to know some of the illustrious members of this club, the 4 musketeers that we have got to know today. And I just wanted to say that longevity that this club has had, the experience that it has gathered over 50 years, the ups and downs and turns, and I'm sure at least 3 different types of Toastmasters educational programs that you have seen, the stories that have been told in this club. And I noticed somebody mentioned the stories from the World War II, and I'm sure that this club would have stories from the civil rights movement and of the likes. There is a lot that has gone on in the world in the last 50 years, and you have witnessed them all. And collectively, we also got to know together that you made a difference in the world. And members of this club have gone on to different parts of this country and the world, and are testifying to the fact that Toastmaster does work, does matter, and does create a difference. So thank you for setting this wonderful example. And I once again congratulate you for this 50 years. And clubs such as yourselves should continue to exist. And there are deeper lessons to be learned here, which we can share with the broader community of clubs in our district so that they can follow your great example. Once again, congrats, and back to you, Carl. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, Bob. It's been good to get to know you over the last couple of years as you've moved up the district hierarchy. Anyway, it's District 101 has just really gone to town. There's so much going on every single day, and it's just an exciting time for the District 101. So thank you. And our final official presentation, anyway, is going to be a presentation of the certificate of congratulations for 50 years. 50th anniversary, and that certificate is from World Headquarters at Toastmasters International. And I've asked a good friend of mine, dear friend of mine, one of my mentors, perhaps my strongest mentor in Toastmasters, on behalf of Toastmasters International, to present this award. And that person is a past international director from Region 2. He's, of course, a past District 4 governor, and several others. And when I was coming up in the organization, it was this gentleman that really got me into district affairs. And I was starting to move up the pecking order, the ladder, and the Navy had this habit of transferring me. So I ended up in Hawaii, and I got involved with the district offices in Hawaii. Probably would have made it all the way there, except the Navy transferred me again. So anyway, I still have district friends from the district in District 49 in Hawaii. So anyway, please help me welcome, representing Toastmasters International today, Guy Ferry, past international director, distinguished Toastmaster.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and dear friends. When I was educational vice president of District 4, it was always a pleasure that we had to visit clubs that had been organized for a period of time and had achieved greatness in that short period of time. So I have the happy occasion to visit from time to time over the years, nostalgic visits to the 40th anniversary and other anniversaries of Toastmasters International. Now, District 4 is a Toastmaster district. They're numbered in the order in which they were chartered. And since District 4 was the fourth district to be formed, it was named 40. It's been my pleasure to be a charter member of a district whom is and is able to end its form in 15, 16, 17. And a great citation has been made from Toastmasters International for their achievement to Toastmasters International and District 4 Toastmasters. Help me welcome the governor.
No. You're presenting the certificate.
Presenting this certificate to District 4 for being
Naval Postgraduate
the
School.
Naval Postgraduate School.
50th anniversary.
40 members.
50th anniversary.
40th anniversary.
50th. 50th.
Yes.
Certificate.
Postgraduate School of District 4. We welcome you to be part of Toastmasters International.
Thank you very much, Guy. And you're going to somehow get that certificate flown over to me, right? It's going to disappear off your screen, right? Well, okay, we cheated and made 2 copies. There it is. All right. Thank you very much, Guy, my dear friend and mentor, long-term mentor, who's always there when I had a question and I needed some advice. I remember when we lived in District 49, a guy would fly through on his way to Australia or something, and he'd stop at my house and we'd chat for a while. Just great memories. And Debs, thanks for helping your dad out. Debs was district secretary one of the years that I was parliamentarian, so I got to work with her. Kate, you're funny. Kate says, Carl's tech savviness is mind-blowing. Oh, you should see how I mess it up. Okay, that was the last official presentation. There's a couple of people, though, that haven't talked, and I can't possibly get everybody, but I do want to give, I don't think that Shamala Sisti made it. Is she here? Our program quality director, she had registered. I don't see anything happening, so we'll say not. Past District Governor Henry Miller, for 1 minute, would you care to make any remarks?
Yes, I was just putting a remark in the chat box. Thank you for inviting me to this wonderful event. Wishing you and all your future members 50 more years and beyond. And perhaps one day we will all meet in that big Toastmasters meeting in the beyond. I look forward to meeting you all. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Henry. Henry brought me back as parliamentarian back in 2010, I guess it was. That started another 5 years of being parliamentarian, which to this day, I really relish the people that I got to work with and serve. We have one other past district governor here that is really the one that found the plaque that we got presented. So district governor, I think it was 1986, 87 in District 4. Susan Swope, do you have any comments you'd like to make for no more than a minute?
Absolutely. I'm in awe of Naval Postgraduate School's 50 years. My home club, SRI Organon, is only 41 years old. But you would not have that plaque if I didn't find it.
That's right.
And if I didn't look up who it was given to, because it doesn't, I don't think it says Naval Postgraduate School on it, does it?
I don't think it does.
It was, so I had to look up Carl. And I was happy that I found it. And I was happy that I got it back to you. When I was district governor, I remember Division A, and you were all in Division A at that time, was feeling left out because there's such a gap between San Jose and Monterey Bay. So one of the things that I took on as district governor was to make sure I visited all the clubs that were in Division A. So it is a great pleasure to see some of the people and to remember those days. And I hope you have another 50 years. I know you and I won't be there then, but I hope the Naval Postgraduate will still be going strong. Carl.
Well, thank you, Susan. We hope so too. There are several other people who are here that haven't had a chance to speak, but we'll give you that opportunity because we're going to keep the Zoom going after I formally close the meeting, and that'll be an opportunity for those that haven't spoken to jump in and have something to say. And we'll just hang around as long as you're comfortable doing so. Okay, let's see. Next part of the program is closing remarks and acknowledgements. First of all, I'm just really grateful for everybody that showed up today. We did have a few folks that registered that did not make it. It's their loss, I think. It's a tremendous program that we had today. Just fantastic. And one thing I think you've all noticed, my virtual background that I'm using is actually our meeting room when we're meeting live. And you see, I'm actually in there twice. You can see me over on the very right, and past President Tom Pilkerton sitting over on the left. And what drove this picture is I told Kyle I need a picture of our banner because our banner is just totally filled with all of our president's distinguished ribbon. In fact, there's 2 or 3 more in my Toastmasters briefcase that if we ever get back to meeting in person, I got to put back on this banner. So I wanted a picture of the banner, and that's how I ended up. Kyle had this picture, and so that's a good picture, and we'll just use that. So we did. All right, I have some people I really want to thank. First of all, particularly Kyle, who without Kyle working with me on this, and we had our moments from time to time, but we got through this, and we. When there was an argument or a discussion, we'd work it out. There was even something this morning. We'd agreed on something yesterday. She changed my mind this morning. We changed on a couple of things, and that's how it works. And the important thing is the goal was to put on a great show rather than what was in for it for us personally. That wasn't the issue. That's one of the members. So Kyle was the creative person in the team. So I thank you for being that. I was the administrative guy. You probably figured that out. I don't have a creative bone in my body. So that's why this is a good team. And then there's the technology aspects. Carrie Glenn, she's the one that set up the software that automatically sent out the register that had the link for registration. You clicked on that, and that triggered a message automatically. And then as far as Kajabi, Kajabi is the name of the software company that sets this up, sending out the link. They did that 2 or 3 times. And then this morning, I wasn't 100% happy that everybody would recognize that as the link. That's why I sent the link out again. Figured overkill is better than no kill. So that's what happened there. And my good friend and long-term Toastmaster buddy, Arnie Buss, who really has worked the Zoom issue and anything that needed to be done with that. He also reformatted the program package so that it looks halfway decent. Caught a lot of my errors, got those corrected, except for one. And we already talked about that. And also my friend Greg Netzorg, who is a real technical expert. He helps me out when I do officer training on Zoom. And Greg's a quiet guy that kind of stays in the background. But when you need help, he gets the job done. So thank you for that. And just a reminder for members, we haven't called on very many of our own members, and almost everybody is here today. And I do see the green, thank you. Our current members, Remember, it's time to pay your dues if you have not already. And for those of you that used to be members, we're on Zoom. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can be here. Charlie can be here from Romania almost every week. The rest of you can also. And we would invite you to come back and rejoin the club. We're going to be on Zoom for at least another 6 months. I'm figuring it's going to be September at least before anything settles out that we could go back to the school. So please join us. We really need the members. We want to make sure we have enough members to get President's Distinguished again. And that's the only thing that could hold us up right now. So anyway, thank you all for coming. Presenters, thank you for helping me out. Everybody that I didn't mention that helped me out, I'm sorry I didn't mention you, but I appreciate your help. And I'm going to adjourn the meeting formally, and then we can go out and chat for a while. All right, I still have a gavel, so this meeting stands adjourned. Yay.